Cafe Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Yes, welcome to FF episode 1979, 1979. Isn't that a song by Smashing Pumpkins?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It most certainly is, and my name's not Billy Corrigan, though we're both bald. And there's some stuff that happened in 1979, I can't remember it all, except that there was some kind of thing where we were trying to vote out Jimmy Carter. Oh yeah, there was the hostages, and I think I worked harder than ever in school because now we had math.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
This kind of math, any kind of math just befuddles me. But this math was tough math, so
Mike's
we got through that.
Daily
And then on into the 80s.
Podcast.
And then the 80s were full of synthesizers. And little Mike running around going, oh wow, there's these things called girls. Ooh. Because I didn't ever see any girls, apparently. It was a whole new world with the girls. And then there was I'm getting ahead of myself. But today, Mike's Daily Podcast is going to be a little bit different because I think I might have caught something. There's so many things going around these days. No, it's not coronavirus, I hope. But see, that's why this story has really gotten huge, aside from the fact that people have died, and it's really affecting China and industry. But we're at that time of year where everyone gets sick. Remember a year ago, it was all about the flu. This is the worst flu season ever. We heard that like 100 billion times. And so it's all that they show in the news, and all your cough medicine and flu medicine and all that, sniffling, sneezing, coffee head fever stuff. That's what we talk about all the time. But today I'm not. I'm going to talk about let's see. Yesterday I couldn't do a podcast because I slept a lot. Oh, maybe because I was getting sick.
And here's today's podcast picture.
It's of the wonderful Coal Canyon Lake, which no longer exists. Yes, this picture was taken 8 years ago. Coal Canyon. 8 years ago, and now it is gone. It's just a big field that no one's doing anything with, just leaving there. There are these, what do you call them, with the pigs? Wild boar. Wild boar. It's a Duran Duran song, and it's also a bunch of huge animals that run around. And deer. And I've never seen a wild boar until I looked out on this field. And Basil was there, but he didn't really see it. But lots of deer running around on this field, which used to be a lake. And this is a picture of a lake. You can see it at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Tell your friends. And Basil says thank you to Anchor.fm because apparently since I put the podcast on there, this podcast has been pushed onto all these platforms that I had no idea existed for podcasting. So perhaps you are listening to the show because of that. Meanwhile, we're also doing laundry here at Cafe Anyway. And I'm just making sure. Uh-oh. Okay. So one of the wonderful things, talents that I have is the ability to screw up every kind of bit of plumbing that exists. And at Cafe Anyway, I've messed up the washing machine, and sometimes it throws water all over the floor. But not today, thankfully. Hey, you know what else can be improved? Bart. So I don't know if you know this. I didn't know this, that there is a organization. Here, come with me over here, will you? Because I can't see unless we stand right over here by the light. Oh my gosh, it is so dark here at Cafe Anyway. Elizabeth Ames, she's the director, the BART director. Okay, and this is for Fremont, Newark, Union City, South Hayward, and Southern Alameda County. Basically everywhere that I parked. Sorry, we're having a little bit of issues here at Cafe Anyway. And she wrote the following: I want to commend the heroic acts of BART passengers and community members that led to the Hayward and Bart Police Department's arrest of an alleged suspect in the fatal assault of a Bart passenger at the South Hayward station. That happened, I think that was December. She says, but we must ask the question, why is this happening? BART, by the way, for those of you listening outside of the Bay Area, it's Bay Area Rapid Transit. It is a electric-powered train system that runs mostly on top of the ground, high over the ground, between the freeways. It goes under the bay to San Francisco, has a couple tunnel parts. In fact, when they were building BART back in the 70s, George Lucas utilized it for his THX movie because they were building the tunnels, and he said, hey, can I use that to shoot this movie? And Robert Duvall was in that. Okay, so BART ridership continues to decline amid chronic lawlessness and reports of violence on trains and in stations. I just yesterday, as I was riding home to the Hayward BART from Fremont BART, witnessed a guy. I was all alone in a car with this kid. And this kid, he's got one of these big bags, with like a big, thick strap. And he's whipping the window with the strap. For no reason at all, just hitting it. And there's like metal on the strap and it's hitting the glass. And I'm like, this is not cool. So I left the car. Did I stand up to him and say, what you're doing is idiotic? Yes, I am doing that now. But, I had no idea that Bob Einstein died. Super Dave Osborne. The guy from, is it Funkhausen from Curb Your Enthusiasm? I had no idea he died. Watch the comedians in cars getting coffee. Comedians drinking coffee while they're in cars. That thing on Netflix with Jerry Seinfeld interviewing him. He's interviewed him, I think it was twice. And it was just the funniest conversations. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Yes, we are actually in Podcastro Valley today. And with all the people outside and inside and the birds and everything. But one of the things they do is, they'll sit in a restaurant and he'll interview them. I like that idea, sitting in restaurants. It's cool. So I keep wanting to say Richard Dreyfuss, but Jerry Seinfeld takes Bob Einstein to this coffee place. I guess it's somewhere in Malibu. Is it Malibu? It's somewhere in between Malibu and Santa Monica. I don't know where any of those places are anymore. It's been so long since I lived down there. But they're sitting at a coffee place. It's in the morning, and all the young ladies that just worked out, they're getting their coffee to go, wearing their, workout outfits. They're all running back and forth behind him, busy, bustling coffee place. And he's telling the story about how his father did this amazing stand-up routine at I think it was a Friar's Roast type thing where comedians roast each other. They basically, say funny things and at the expense of the other people. And his dad did this and gave a great speech. And the next morning, or he died. Actually, he died while he was giving the speech. I think that's what it was. He had some kind of heart attack. I don't have all the facts, obviously, but yeah. So Bob Einstein's trying to tell this story, and the people are making all this noise in the background. And he suddenly just shouts out, "I'm trying to tell the story of how my dad died." And Jerry Seinfeld's laughing. Now Bob Einstein's no longer with us. It's sad. So, but watch that Jerry Seinfeld thing. It's been a while since I watched it. Obviously, I can't. My short-term memory and my long-term memory is all messed up. But as Elizabeth Ames was saying, back to Bart, recent Contra Costa and Alameda County grand jury reports called for Bart to provide a visible public safety presence. Media reports have regularly featured interviews and stories of dissatisfied Bart riders. Clearly, Bart is not doing enough to curtail lawless conduct and to ensure the safety and comfort and security of passengers. Though we continue to move more than 400,000 passengers daily, today Bart ridership is down to 200... what? It's down to 2013 levels. Riders endure ripped seats, trash, drug use, and homeless people sleeping in stations and on trains. It's true. Today I got on a BART and the seats were ripped off. A couple seats were just ripped off for no reason. Whoever these people are that like to vandalize the BARTs are ridiculous. The BART cars. As your BART director, and then also most of our stations are not adequately cleaned. Only the downtown San Francisco stations are regularly steam cleaned. The result is a dreadful and discouraging daily rider experience. As your BART director, I place the highest priority on public safety, but far more needs to be done. We need to refocus BART on maintaining and growing ridership by building community trust and assuring passengers the system is safe, secure, and reliable. Let's begin by rolling out a plan to secure BART by installing new fare gates and raising railings to 6 feet at all stations within 2 years. Yes, because this is what happens. People just walk right in. They're entitled, and they jump over these bars. They go through emergency doors that are just loose, just flailing back and forth like an old saloon door at an old West town. There's no way to stop anyone from getting on the trains. More elevators to within the paid areas to prevent riders at the Bayfare and Coliseum stations from entering the BART system without paying fares, and eliminate panhandling on trains and platforms. The recovery of lost fare revenue, estimated at $25 million a year, will help fund these improvements and deter crime on our trains and at our stations. And Elizabeth says, in my first year as a BART director, I cast the lone vote against the $2.3 billion BART budget for 2019. Why? Because I wanted more funds dedicated to public safety by hiring more BART police officers and by providing clean, safe stations and trains. I could not in good conscience approve an increase in BART fares without improving the overall ridership experience. Thank you. We cannot fix the problem of lost ridership by increasing fares. I will not vote to approve the 2020 BART budget unless it includes a multi-year plan for significant improvements to public safety, security, and cleanliness. The time of public safety action is now, and I urge you to join me in reversing the decline of our BART system. Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, there's a visible public safety presence that's supposed to be on BART now. But it is in such a way that nothing gets escalated, so we don't run into another issue like we did at Fruitvale a couple years back. So, that's what's going on. I say that because BART is huge in the Bay Area, and people use it, and I love the fact that we're not all clogging up the roads with cars, because we got this wonderful thing called BART, and other cities don't have it. I've lived lots of places that didn't have a cool public transportation system like that, and the fact that it's going to pot is sad. So, hey, that's about all I have for today's show. Me whining about that and tell you about Bob Einstein. Oh, and also that sand dunes can communicate with each other. As they move, sand dunes interact with and repel their downstream neighbors. Using an experimental dune racetrack, the researchers observed that two identical dunes start out close together, but over time they get further and further apart. This is the University of Cambridge. This interaction is controlled by turbulent swirls from the upstream dune, which push the downstream dune away. The results reported are key for the study of long-term dune migration, which threatens shipping channels, increases desertification, or the growing of deserts, and can bury infrastructure such as highways. When a pile of sand is exposed to wind or water flow, it forms a dune shape and starts moving downstream with the flow. Sand dunes, whether in deserts, on river bottoms, or seabeds, rarely occur in isolation and instead usually appear in large groups, forming striking patterns known as dune fields or corridors. It's well known that active sand dunes migrate The speed of a dune is inverse to its size. Smaller dunes move faster and larger dunes move slower, which hasn't been understood as if and how dunes within a field interact with each other. And this article you can find on phys.org. That's like physics, but without the X. So it's just phys.org. Yeah! Isn't that crazy? I know! That's how that is. Hey, I want to go see Bunny and Joe tomorrow. So no podcast tomorrow, sadly. I know. I try to bring it to you as much as I can, but I got a life and I get interrupted by life. Hey, that napping fan at the Super Bowl. What an idiot. That's why I say you need more sleep. And I certainly do. Although I tried to lay down for a nap today, and oh my gosh, I woke up with I feel my throat's sore, my ears kind of weird. I hate that. Maybe it's telling me I need more sleep, or I'm sick like everybody else. So I hope you feel better. I hope you take good care of yourself, get sleep. That helps. Of course, wash your hands regularly for like 2 minutes at least. I think that's what they say. You have to sing happy birthday. You should also eat healthy, which I've been trying to do. Get your vitamin C regularly. All that fun stuff. I'm not a professional doctor. I'm just telling you the stuff that professional doctors have told me over and over and over and over again. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Tell other people about it. Hey, by the way, we're outside a cafe anyway, so we should say hi to these people here in episode 1979 here at Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Let's say hi to them, because they're staring at me kind of strange. Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing?
It's a disgruntled fiddle player telling you what.
What?
I think we all are coming down with something.
I think so, too. Yikes. Remember that one time I did a podcast and I had what did I have? I had, what's it with the things in the back? Tonsillitis. I once did a podcast with tonsillitis. Ugh. Look who else is here.
Oh, Mike, I make delicious root beer hairstyle right now. Oh, boy, I'll cut you. There's vitamin C in it.
Oh, good. Thank you. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. You can call me 336MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM is in Mike Matthews. Daily is in what this podcast tries to be. Gets interrupted. That whole thing. Hey, take it away, Ariel.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!